with an early sun-up shark fin rising. We're off to finish up the hiking sticks. We are going to stain it and also possibly polyurethane it. Let's get started. As the rays of sun hit the mountaintop of the shark fin swimming north-northeast, we kick off the day early 6:30 a.m. On the other side of the mountain, facing southwest, you see dancing rocks, pathways to the top. And you see pointing fingers. All right, it's a nice day out, and I'm going to start off with the stain. All right, so we're going to get started here. I found a nice little place to do a little bit of sanding, show you what's going on, and also a little bit of staining. Now, one of the things I'm doing today is this really large walking stick. And I wanted to show you that in the video and filming from yesterday, I sanded it and got most of the top section completed. And now all I have to do is sand a little bit of the bottom section, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to show you what it looks like. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stain it, possibly a couple coats, and we'll see how it looks. I wanted to show you this before I get started. So I'm setting it on my foot so I don't get it dirty, because I am going to stain it. Now you can see that there's a lot of rough areas, really rough areas, and what I would do is do this, just like this. I would sand it. Let me show you. Sort of like this. Okay. Sometimes I use a towel inside of this sandpaper. It's 60 grit. Okay, it's called Hercules. I think I picked it up at Harbor Freight. It's inexpensive. The more expensive the sandpaper, the longer it lasts typically. And then what I do is sand all these areas and completely sand this down here until it looks smooth, just like that. These cracks are all filled in, and now I'm going to stain it. Check it out. Here we go. All right, let's get started. So this is one of the things I have is a extra bag to put the stain cloth in. I have a rubber glove that I can use, and hopefully this will keep the stain off my fingers. I have a super small cloth I'm going to stain on, and then this is a larger cloth right here, and that's going to be to wipe it off. After each time you stain, you just let it sit on for a little bit and wipe it down so it's even. And we'll get started. I'm going to leave the bottom part of this section of this walking stick that I'm working on, and I'm going to not stain it or do anything to it. And I'm going to show you the differences so you'll be able to see the comparison or contrast of how it looks. So the stain I'm using is a premium oil. It's wood finish, and it's penetrating stain, and you want to put it on just slowly and evenly, the best you can, to try to make it look as best you can. And it just, absorbs into the wood, since wood with no coating on will absorb water or anything. So also you don't want to touch it with your hands if they're oily, because if they are, this will not go in the area where you need to, and the oil, if you get a piece of oil on it, it'll repel off, sort of like a duck. When water goes in a duck's back, it falls off. The same things when it falls off the piece of wood that you're trying to stain, whether it be a walking stick or a piece of furniture. So I'm going to go with this right now, and this is a semi-transparent. It's called Provin Cali 211. I guess that's the color of it, and we're going to give it a try. Here we go. This has already been shaken up really, really well, and you can always just find a little stick in the desert and stir it up. Just make sure that you pick a stick without any thorns on them, because they're all over the place. So I'm going to stir it up a little bit, even though it's been shaken up. And temperature today right now is probably 55 degrees. It feels like about 60, 65, no wind at all. Perfect day to do it. Here we go. And I got one staining glove. I blew some air in it, made sure there's no holes in it, and it's ready to go. Just gently, you can open it up, blow some air in it, and if just don't inhale, just blow some air in it, and if you don't hear any air and if it stays filled up, you know it's okay to use it for a staining glove, or whatever glove you're going to use it for, that you don't want any chemicals on your fingers or hands. I did bring some denatured alcohol just in case I do get some on my hands, and I do have a couple extra towels too to wipe it off, because the stain will absolutely stain your hands, your fingernails, and everything else. And it's a real pain to clean it off, and you're rubbing it forever. So here we go. So I brought along both walking sticks. This one is finished. It has the bottom on it, and the only thing I have to do is just put maybe another bead of adhesive around the bottom there at the top of the rubber tip. And then we worked on this yesterday, and we put this grip on, this little leather piece, and I always keep a leather piece or two in my backpack in case I lose this or it breaks. Set that there. I just wanted to show you the contrast. So now we're talking, this is the stain, and then also the 3 coats of polyurethane 24 hours after I stained it. Sometimes I even go 48 hours, but this I did 24 hours. And now this is all dry and sanded. The bottom section we're not going to touch. I have the denatured alcohol ready to go. And that's it. So we're ready to roll. I'm going to open up the denatured alcohol, and I'm going to open up the stain. Oh, look at this. We got a little desert. Looks like almost like rosemary. Let's take a leaf, see what it smells like. It's something. So what we're going to do is we're going to move away from that little plant just a few inches and create a new home right here. And create a new home over here. Like I said, the desert, extremely sandy. So we'll let the little plant alone and enjoy his time. So this is what I rolled it up to. You can see that I rolled it so that the smooth side of the towel is here and there's no lint. Let me just show you how the lint can really, all this lint and all these little fuzzy things can go all over, whether you're polyurathaning or staining, can get everywhere. So I roll it up in a situation like this, and there's one on my leg already. It's amazing. So I roll it up, and then I curl up both sides, and then I eventually get it so that it is looking like this. So it's all smooth. I'm going to do it again so it's perfect. So the back side of it looks like that, and when I get done, it'll look like that where I'll stain it, and that I won't get any lint onto this, to the wood, because this wood is a little rough. It's 60 grit, so any little piece of wood that's sticking out is going to grab it, but this won't, because I have the smoother side, which I'm staining with. So I'm going to come down, get a little bit of stain right here, just like that. Little stain, and watch how this works. Here's a little glue spot right there. Not sure if that'll take it, but you know, if it doesn't, so be it. And we're only going to go down to right here. That's it, right there. Because down there, I never stained it. I mean, sanded it right here. I never sanded it here. Sanded it. You can see it's really rough. So I'm just going to stain it down to here. I'll come over here, get a little bit more. And then I'll stain it. I'll also get some extra stain. I'll also get some extra stain on it to go into these little cracks. And you can see it just soak it right up. There you go. I'm going to turn the camera off, stop filming, and finish up. I'll show you what it looks like. It's completed here. This is the finished one. And now this one here, I actually put a bunch of coats on. First I wiped it down with the staining cloth vertically, so just like the way it's staining vertically. And then what I did was I put it I put it on the side of the bank, and then I held it sideways and held it horizontally. And the reason I did that, I'll show you what I did. I held it just like this right here. I held it horizontally, and that way, when you hold it horizontally, so I held it horizontally just like this, and I also didn't stain the very top, so I didn't use another glove, and I didn't stain right in this area here. So I might sand this a little bit more right here, just a tad, and also I might also possibly right where that little V is, I'm not going to fill it in, but I might carve it so it's a little smoother edge, and carve it with a knife, and then I'll sand that down. Okay, that's a possibility what I'm going to do. Now this is, you can see it's still shiny and it's absorbing it, and I made sure that I got all the little teeny knots and so forth. Those are the knots in the tree, and made sure it soaked in there. Now what I could do is I could wait 15 minutes. Here's a little piece of something on it, but everything's clean, as you can see. And there's the other stuff, and there it's not sanded. So what I'll do is I'll just let this dry here in the sun a little bit, and I'll probably put one more coat on so it really absorbs into the cracks. When you do it vertically like this, okay, the stain isn't going to really absorb into the cracks, but when you do it horizontally, then you can actually squeeze the stain into the cracks, and that helps seal the wood for its longevity. And I got something really special I'm going to be doing with this and sharing with you, and I think you're going to get excited about it. And I just have to do a little research, and once I know, I'll share that with you, and we'll be ready to rock and roll. This one here will probably get a hole drilled in it somewhere up here, and then I'll put the leather strap through it and make it more permanent. That's how I'll do this one, probably. That's how I'm going to most likely do this one. As pertaining this area here, I'll just stain this once I get it back, and I probably can carry it. I think it's probably within an hour it'll be done, but I'm going to stain this one more time, okay, and really get it good, because this is a really nice walking stick. And let me just show it to you here. So it's, you know, from feet high, it's just about chin high right here. And it's a beautiful day out today, as you can see. It's gorgeous, and hikers are everywhere. It's a Friday, so people are enjoying their time. And I came over here too, so that I'm out of the way of everybody too, which is real nice. Okay, that's it. Let me just do a little bit more staining and I'll be all set. This one here, I didn't really stain it a lot. I gave it 3 stains. I'm sorry, I gave it 2 stains and then 3 coats of polymer. This I gave really soaking, like probably 3 stains, and really left it soak in. And I left the top part alone, okay, so I can hold it, and then I left the bottom part because we're going to do something different with that. Okay, so it's going to look good, but when it's done, and we're also going to put a hole through it once I decide where I'm going to walk with it and go from there. So that's it. So I'm just going to let this sit here for a little bit. Right there, just leaning against a tree. No harm, no foul. Everything's good, and all the little squirrels and everybody's there in different areas, and nothing's happening here. So all I'm going to do, I got nothing on this hand at all, so I'm good. And let this dry, and we're going to be rocking and rolling. There you go. This little towel here, I can put that into a little plastic bag like I told you before, just like this. Put that in here. That takes care of that. And then I'll take this one right here. I'll take this plastic bag and I'll put this towel in this plastic bag. And then I'll just carry that over. But for right now, I'll just keep this in my pocket. I'm going to close up the Denatured Alcohol. I didn't use that at all. Close that up. That's closed. And now I'll just close this up right here. Nothing on that either. Perfect. All right. Okay, so we have this one that's finished and that's completed. This one's drying. I'll let that dry probably. They say you can polyurethane in 3 hours. I'm going to leave this dry for 24 hours. There's a chance even when I get it back in town, I might even put an extra stain on it and maybe even do some sanding. But probably I'll just let it go right just the way it is, just like that for right now. So that should be good. And so what we'll do is we'll let this dry for 24 hours. And I'll add this onto the filming that I've already done. And what we'll do is we'll continue tomorrow, 24 hours later, and we'll clear coat this, and we'll put like 3 coats of polyurethane. And that should take about an hour. Depends on how long it takes for each coat to dry. If we do it out here in the desert with the sun hitting it, it might go really, really quick. If you do it inside where it's damp and there's a lot of humidity, it's going to dry really, really slow. It's very dry out in the desert today, so it will dry really, really fast. So that should do it. Here we go. Let's take one last look. Looks great. Don't forget to fill those knots in with stain so that you get the coverage. That looks good, just like that. So one of the things I want to share with you, like this tree right here, just to let you know, I'm not sure what brand this tree is, but I know it's a really hardy tree. Now it looks really, really friendly and soft and so forth, but I want you to take a look at this. Look at this. This tree has thorns on it like you wouldn't believe. I mean, I'm talking thorns that are gigantic, like an inch long. Look at these things right here. This is like an inch long. It's an inch long thorn, and you got to be really, really careful with all these thorns. Okay, so you got to be super careful, super careful with all these thorns, just like that right there. So these are inch long thorns. Really neat. So it looks like it's green and it's friendly, but it's really not. Look at these little pieces right here, really sharp. And then once again, I want to show you, here's a couple little teeny ones, about maybe ½ inch, and here's inch and a quarter. Super sharp, and they're all the way up, the whole thing. Amazing. So when you go in the desert, be super careful. All right, let's get back. Maybe we'll take a hike, see some wildlife. All right, well, we got this done. We're gonna set this aside, let it dry. Maybe we'll take a hike today. I'm not sure what we're gonna do. Friday gets pretty busy in the desert, and the wildlife starts to sort of hunker down, hide. The birds come out because they know that when the more people walk around, the more little insects that start floating, and they can eat off you walking around. And when the horses come out, sometimes they have some horses out here that are riding around. Then what happens is those little things, the birds will follow the horses, and they'll kick up little teeny little insects and so forth that are still flying around, perhaps maybe something else. You never know. But we're just going to take a break, and if we do hike, fine. If we don't, I'm going to end this video now. Here we go.